Hey everybody, it's your friend and your guy and your favorite Samwise Gamgee, Gardiner. I wouldn't know, I've never seen Lord of the Rings. Make sure you hit that like button, it really helps the show out. You can also hit that subscribe button if that's more your speed. And if you're not a big fan of YouTube, head over to LBRY, lbry.tv/@thelinuxgamer. It's awesome. So Gaming on Linux is reporting that Valve told them that there will be native Linux Vulkan support for HalfLife Alyx. That's pretty cool and very exciting because maybe we'll actually get a usable Steam VR for Linux. Now, Steam VR is available for Linux right now, and it works, but it makes me very, very sick. So this is what Valve said to Gaming on Linux. The game will be playable on Proton with DX11 at launch. And they go on to say, post-launch, we will be aiming to provide Vulkan and Linux support through subsequent updates. Now, this is good news for everyone in the Linux world, because it shows that Valve is still dedicated to Linux gaming. For a long time, they weren't really producing games, and so the best way that they were supporting Linux was by having Steam, the largest games platform for the PC, on Linux. Great, that's great. I love Valve for doing that. They released Artifact on Linux, and they've been doing Proton. Proton is freaking cool, let me tell you. But this video is not about Proton. This video is about the problems with Steam VR on Linux. So as many of you probably know, I bought a Valve Index back last year sometime, late last year. And I was really excited to try it. I hadn't seen a lot of people using the Valve Index on Linux, and there's good reason for that. It's because Steam VR on Linux, or maybe the graphics drivers, just aren't up to snuff. If you're not familiar with how VR works, you strap a headset to your face, and there's a screen in there. And as you move your head around, the headset tracks like all your movements and updates the screen so that, you know, it mirrors what you would be seeing if you were in a virtual space. The problem with that is that if your computer isn't fast enough or the graphics hardware isn't strong enough, then you're going to end up with latency and other issues that can disconnect what your equilibrium is telling your brain you should be seeing and what you're actually seeing. Now, some people are more susceptible to that than others. I happen to be extremely susceptible to motion sickness with VR. It's bad. It's really bad. This is so disorienting. This is very disorienting. So, the biggest issue that we face, that I face personally with it, is that when you strap the headset to your face and you move your head back and forth or up and down or any combination of those, you end up with frame pacing issues where, you know, a consistent frame rate would make it so you weren't motion sick at all. But the frame pacing problems, it's like if you're looking at this thing and you move your head, it's not moving smoothly. It's going bloop, 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 bloop. And the movement across your field of view is inconsistent, and it's just awful. It makes me really sick, really fast. This is very disorienting. I have to admit that I have actually installed Windows on my living room VR machine specifically because I spent $1,000 on this VR headset, and on Linux it makes me sick. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no getting around it. On Windows, it doesn't make me sick. The question is, why? What's the difference? VR gaming on Linux is a niche of a niche, right? You have a small group of Linux gamers, and they're taking on this even smaller set of VR games, and really, the hardware drivers just aren't up to snuff. And that really sucks because video games on Windows tend to get more polish and more optimization than the native Linux clients do. Now, I'll be interested to see how Valve releasing HalfLife Alyx for Linux post-launch is going to work. Are they going to put more effort into the native Linux client? Are they going to put more effort into optimizing SteamVR for Linux? Because I think all of these things are interesting questions, and I think all of these things need to be addressed. And I think another thing that's really important is having graphics drivers optimized for Linux. When you look at everything all together, Linux is more powerful, less overhead intensive, more efficient than Windows. In virtually every category, Linux is just better than Windows. And the problem that we run into here is that while Linux has all of these advantages to Windows, it's a pretty small community. Game developers and hardware manufacturers just don't put in the time to optimize their games for the superior platform. And that's why we have so many issues. So that's why I'm hopeful that Valve releasing HalfLife Alyx for Linux is going to be a good thing for us. Hopefully this will help to optimize the software stack for VR as well as optimize the drivers for Linux. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you think that this will be good for us? Let me know in the comments. I'd really like to know what you guys have to say. I want to say thank you to my patrons. Sheldon Halcomb, you're my dude. I really appreciate your support. If you believe in the work that I do and you want to support the show and you can afford it, please head over to Patreon. It makes a huge difference when you guys support the show. You can also pick up t-shirts. There's going to be a link in the description. Or you can share this video with your friends. That makes a huge difference as well. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.